Star Trek, Bitcoin, and Led Zeppelin are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is January 3rd, 2023. It is the third day of the year. We got 362 days left. It is the first Tuesday, obviously, in the first week, and the 14th day of winter. You got 76 days left until spring. Today is National Right to Congress Day. Today, the U.S. observes National Right to Congress Day. This happens every January 3rd. This is a day for citizens to exercise their democratic right. It is crucial to write to the state and federal level representatives, relaying all concerns to them. Small business owners can also write to their elected representatives about any recent bills that might affect them or their business. Very few people do or even know the number of the representative in their state. Think about it. Do you know your congressman? Do you know your state representative for your area? Not a lot of people do. The Congress is the United States American legislature, first established under the Constitution in New York in 1789 before moving to Philadelphia. The first U.S. Congress laid the foundation, forming the government departments, passing the Bill of Rights, and announcing the president. In 1800, the national capital was moved to Washington, D.C. I have a friend, he's another YouTuber, his name is Mr. Beat. That's his last name. His last name is Beat, and he was a school teacher. Now he's a full-time YouTuber. He sent letters and made calls to every single representative, maybe it was senators, but anyway, and he didn't get many responses back. So I know they want us to do this, but there's no way they can handle the amount of mail they're getting on a normal day, and now we're going to send them this. So this is just a nice thing to kind of, be part of some civic engagement type thing, but the reality is they're not going to read it. Maybe, but I doubt it. It is an important thing to take your grievances to your congressman, and I'm a firm believer in that. Even your senators, if you need to write them a letter or call their office, you should. But if it's just you, nothing's gonna change. If a lot of people start doing this about the same issue, something might change. I think these days it's just your representatives are beholden to giant corporations who donated the most money. But I have a theory. I think with all this donating over the internet and things like that and the different campaigns they have, I think that gives the power to the people a little bit. If more Americans would do that, to kind of overshadow how much the corporations are giving them, maybe they'd listen to us. There's a few senators or congressmen that don't take any corporate money. They only take donations from citizens. I don't want to get into politics on this or start, calling anyone out, but I know one senator didn't take any money and he still kept pace with who he was running against. And he was only taking money donated from citizens. And I think that's really the way it should be. Giant corporations should have a voice. They just shouldn't have control. All right, let's see what else January 3rd has given us. 1870, construction begins on the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. 1913, an Atlantic coast storm sets the lowest confirmed barometric pressure reading for a non-tropical system in the continental United States. 1944, World War II, U.S. flying ace Major Greg Pappy Boyington is shot down in his F-4U Corsair by Captain Masahiro Kawato. I hope I pronounced that right. Anyway, he was flying a Mitsubishi A6M0, which was the Japanese fighter plane of World War II. One of them, I should say. He was shot down and presumed dead until he showed up 20 months later in a Japanese prison camp. Remember that show, Black Sheep Squadron? Well, at least the first season, it was called Ba Ba Black Sheep. Second season, they renamed it to Black Sheep Squadron. It was a show about Boyington, or loosely based on his exploits and his squadron's exploits during World War II. It ran from September 23rd, 1976 to April 6, 1978. Wasn't that long of a show, but it was pretty good. The real-life Greg Pappy Boyington made an appearance on the show. 1961, after a series of economic retaliations against one another, the United States severs diplomatic relations with Cuba. 1993, in Moscow, President George H.W. Bush and Boris Yeltsin signed the Second Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, or START. 2009, the first block of the blockchain of the decentralized payment system Bitcoin, called the Genesis block, is established by the creator of the system, Satoshi Nakamoto. Again, hope I pronounced that right. I may have mentioned this before, but probably around 2012, my son, who was maybe 16 at the time, he was all, give me a couple $100 so I can buy Bitcoin. It was only $1 or $2 at the time. I thought he was crazy. I'm like, I'm not giving you money for that. Sure, it's gone downhill now, but that $100 could have been worth probably close to $1 million at one point. 2020. Iranian General Soleimani is killed by an American airstrike near Baghdad International Airport, igniting global concerns of the potential armed conflict between the United States and Iran. Premiered on January 3rd, 1993, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This was when Star Trek just started coming out with all kinds of different series. You know, Star Trek Next Generation. I think Deep Space Nine was, I guess, the third or fourth if you count the animated series, but it went the original series from 66 to 69, then it went the animated series for like 1 year, then Next Generation, which was 87 and 94, and then Deep Space Nine was in 93, so that's kind of when it really started re-emerging as a franchise instead of just some quirky show from the 1960s. Then they came out with Voyager, Enterprise, Discovery, Star Treks. I don't know what that one is. Picard, which I saw a couple episodes of that. I thought it was pretty good. Don't know why I didn't watch the whole thing. They got one called Lower Decks. Don't know what that is. Prodigy and Strange New Worlds. They also have some new ones coming up too. Section 31 is a series coming up. Strange. I don't know. I'm still a Star Wars fan over Star Trek. Born on January 3rd, 1946, John Paul Jones, multi-instrumentalist and songwriter known for being one of the co-founders of the multi-platinum and diamond rock band Led Zeppelin. The group is known for songs like Stairway to Heaven and Black Dog. Stairway to Heaven's just an amazing piece of music. Black Dog, okay. It's okay. I think it's all right. I think Immigrant Song, Whole Lot of Love, Kashmir, Fool in the Rain, Dire Maker, so many good songs. Black Dog was okay. Fool in the Rain, so I guess anyone will remember this. About the time you start getting, I don't know, familiar with the opposite sex, 8th grade, 7th grade, freshman, high school, something like that. Some songs bring you back to that moment. Well, yeah, that's Fool in the Rain was that for me. Even though that wasn't my favorite band at the time, that just always brings me back to that period of my life. Strange how the brain works. John Paul Jones is still going. He works on the studio side of music for the most part, producing a lot of really great music over the years. His real name is John Baldwin. Died on January 3rd, 2021, we lost Jerry Marsden, guitarist and singer who fronted the British beat band Jerry and the Pacemakers. The group sang the song How Do You Do It? Ferry Cross the Mersey was a great song. Mersey is actually a river that's in Liverpool, United Kingdom. He actually died in Merseyside, which is the county Liverpool's in. He had been diagnosed with a blood infection in his heart. He was 78 years old. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.